Today I want to talk about the 8th and 12th houses in astrology. These two houses have a reputation that can feel intimidating or even a little frightening. They're often labeled the houses of death, undoing, loss, crisis, or even exile. And for many people, that's where the conversation kind of ends. A vague warning to be careful, or a sigh of pity for anyone with placements there. But that's only part of the story. There are other so-called difficult houses too, like the 4th and 6th house, but we'll talk about those in another episode. I want to give them the justice that they deserve. The truth is, every part of the birth chart holds wisdom, challenge, and medicine. These so-called difficult houses aren't here to punish us. They're here to initiate us. Reducing them to bad houses isn't just misleading. It can create unnecessary fear in people who are just seeking answers. Today I want to focus on the 8th and 12th houses and what it really means to have placements there. In my own family, these houses are woven through our charts like ancestral threads. We have a lot of energies in these areas. I understand why people are afraid of these houses. They are difficult houses to understand, and people naturally fear what they don't understand. But I've learned that there's no need to be afraid of these placements. They're invitations to live more deeply, to know the truth more fully, and to love more profoundly. My hope today is to move past the fear-based interpretations and to look more honestly at what these houses truly are. I'll post on the screen every planetary placement along with Chiron, the North Node, the part of fortune, the vertex, and the Black Moon Lilith, with brief descriptions on how these energies feel in real life and practical ways that you can work with them in your own journey. Please remember, every human has all 12 houses in their chart. Yes, even if a house looks empty, the energy is still present and is still a part of your life that you must face. To understand what's happening there, just look at the ruler of the house. The ruler of the house is the planet that rules the sign on its cusp, aka the sign at the beginning of the house. Whatever sign that is, and whatever house that is, find the planet that rules that sign and look at its condition, and that will tell you a lot about your experience in that house. It can be wildly different from how another person experiences it, depending on the sign and planet. Keep in mind that over time, we cycle through every house of the zodiacal wheel, roughly every 12 years. These are the cycles of our lives, the rhythms and seasons of our lives. The 8th house. I would describe the 8th house as the compost heap where old life breaks down to feed new growth. This house is not about avoiding loss. It's about transforming through it. It's the therapist office where you finally sweep the hurt and the pain from under the rug so that you can finally heal them. It's the underworld journey that strips away the pretense and forces you to see what's real. Think of the story of Jesus dying for 3 days, entering the underworld and retrieving the keys of death and hell, dying to oneself so that your true self can rise. The 8th house is the realm of shared secrets, shared resources, shared fates. It's where your life intertwines with others in a way that will change you forever. Here, nothing remains on the surface. Sex isn't just pleasure, it's vulnerability, surrender, and power exchange. This is the house of inheritance. Yes, material legacy, but also psychic and ancestral ones. Family secrets, generational trauma, spiritual gifts passed down through your lineage that must be claimed consciously. In the 8th house, you confront endings that demand surrender. The death of old identities, old fears, old defenses. This house doesn't destroy for cruelty's sake. It clears what's stagnant so that new life can grow. Yes, it can feel like betrayal, loss, or crisis, but its medicine is truth. It demands that you face what you fear losing so that you can discover what can never truly be taken from you. Your integrity, your capacity to love without control, and your willingness to trust. Healing here is rarely ever gentle. It is transformative, it's raw, and deeply human. The work is to excavate what's been buried so deeply, to speak what's been left unsaid, to sit with discomfort until it becomes wisdom. This is the house of the phoenix. Allow the fire to burn away what no longer serves. What rises from the ashes is you, truer, stronger, more whole. For those with strong 8th house placements, you have the ability to face what others avoid, to bring hidden wounds to light, and to turn endings into beginnings. It isn't always easy, trust, but it is profoundly needed. The 12th house. Think of waking up on an early summer morning and stepping outside. You find the world wrapped in a thick silvery mist that's covering everything. The sunrise is hidden just behind it, its light diffused through the mist, soft and strangely beautiful for being unseen. You can't see too far ahead, there's just enough clarity to see your next step. So you walk slowly, and the path reveals itself, one step at a time. It feels like the beginning of a beautiful fairy tale, charged with magic and mystery. You know deep down in your bones that you're about to meet or have an encounter with something beautiful, powerful, and true. This is a 12th house. It's the sacred in-between where the material dissolves into the spiritual. The 12th house is the realm of dreams, intuition, and the collective unconscious. It's where personal boundaries blur and you realize that you're a part of something bigger. It holds what we hide from ourselves and what we use to hide ourselves from others. This house is sometimes called the house of undoing, but not as punishment. It's the place where the ego surrenders, where you're invited to remember who you are, beyond your name, your roles, titles, and achievements. Who are you? Here, solitude is not exile, it's medicine. In the quiet, you hear your soul's whisper. In the fog of unknowing, you develop faith. It's where the psyche retreats to heal unseen wounds, where you're asked to forgive yourself and to forgive others. The 12th house holds both the mystic's vision and the addict's escape. It can be the most compassionate part of the chart, but also the most self-sacrificing. Its challenge is to love without losing yourself, to help without becoming a martyr. Ancestral grief, karmic patterns, and collective suffering may live here, yes, but so do profound gifts, like spiritual connection, intuitive knowing, the ability to hold space for what others cannot see or cannot face. Healing in the 12th house is not loud or heroic. It's slow, deeply personal, and sacred. It asks for surrender, not to fate, but to the truth that you are not and have never been alone, and you never have to face anything alone. This is where you learn to let go of control, to soften around what you cannot fix, to become permeable to the divine. You remember that prayer? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change what I can, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. That is so applicable here. This is where you don't just disappear, but you remember that you were never truly separate to begin with. For those with strong 12th house placements, your gift is the ability to see what is hidden, to bring compassion to pain, and to help others find light in darkness. It's not an easy path, but it is a holy one. So what's the difference between the 8th and 12th houses? Both lead us into places most people try to avoid, but for different reasons. Both the 8th and the 12th house take us into hidden territories, but they lead us to different kinds of hiddenness. And they ask for different kinds of courage. The 8th house is about what lies beneath, things that are buried, the buried truths, taboos, and entanglements that bind us to each other or to others. It deals with shared resources, deep trust, intimacy, power, and loss. It pushes us to face death and rebirth in a psychological sense, to let old identities die so something truer can be born. It's raw, relational, and confrontational. It demands that we transform by having honest engagement with whatever we fear losing. The 12th house is about what lies beyond, the unseen, the mystical, the collective unconscious.
It's where boundaries dissolve and the individual self opens to something greater. It deals with spiritual surrender, solitude, dreams, intuition, and karmic memory. It asks us to let go, not to let go of relationships or power, but to the illusion of a separate self. It's quiet, contemplative, and subtle. It teaches us to release control and find peace in unity with the divine or with the collective. Put simply, the 8th house transforms us by forcing us to face and share what is hidden between us. The 12th house heals us through surrendering what is hidden within us to something greater than us. One is the underworld journey. It's more raw and exposing. It demands trust and truth. The other is surrendering to the spiritual realm. It's more subtle, humbling, asking for faith and surrender. Both are places of deep healing, if we're willing to do the work. Both ask us to name what hurts, face our shadows, and discover that our hidden places hold not just pain, but also profound medicine. So if you have 8th or 12th house placements, here's my encouragement to you. Don't rush yourself. We all know that growth isn't linear, but this is especially true with these houses. There are no shortcuts here. Let me say that again. There are no shortcuts here. Trying shortcuts will only send you in circles, lost in the darkness or the fog. They don't heal on demand. You must be patient and willing to go step by step by step. Find safe spaces. Therapy and spiritual practices are necessary here. Even deep friendships or connections where you can share what you carry without fear of judgment. Practice naming what is true, even when it's hard. Secrets grow heavy in the dark. Bringing them to light can be the first act of freedom. Honor your boundaries. If you tend to merge easily, or if you tend to merge too easily, practice saying no, even in small ways at first. If you tend to disappear, practice showing up, first for yourself and then for others. Cultivate solitude that nourishes you, not isolation that punishes you. Remember that depth is not the same as danger. Your ability to sit with discomfort is a gift, not a flaw. Practice observing without absorbing. Pay attention to your body's signals. They're messages worth listening to. Notice when you're becoming overstimulated. Ground yourself. Practice grounding yourself, especially after deep work. Physical movement, breath work, or time in nature can help you feel more grounded. And above all, have compassion for yourself. These houses don't want you to be perfect. Perfection is not a requirement here. They want you to be whole. Because when you're willing to face what is hidden, you don't just heal yourself, you become a source of healing for others. That is the medicine of the 8th and 12th houses. This path is not easy, but it was never meant to be. It is holy. Let your shadows speak. Embrace the quiet within you. And when it gets too heavy, don't carry it alone. We heal in the presence of each other, and you are not forgotten here. Until next time, take care of your beautiful, complicated human self.